So 2021 is still a fresh new year, but I thought it was important to leave some of the baggage from 2020 behind. So, like most of you, I was stuck at home, and to kind of like pass the time, I slowly built up my streaming setup, got really into streaming again, and I've picked up a lot of items, but this has been kind of like an ongoing process for the past couple years now. Now, this video is going to be all about my experiences with some of those items and basically items that really didn't help me with the most important thing about streaming, which is the content. So, the first thing I want to talk about, which is a bit ironic considering this whole crazy YouTube setup I've built up, is getting a fancy face camera. Like, I upgraded to a mirrorless camera for my streaming setup, and it did not really affect the content at all. I've never had someone comment like, "Hey, that camera looks great." It really doesn't matter, especially if you're just doing like gaming streams. Like, most of the time, you're kind of just sitting there staring at it. It doesn't really matter having a nice camera. Now, if your content is focused on you being on camera most of the time, like a just chatting stream, or doing art or dancing or something like that, then yeah, definitely get a nice camera. It's worth it. It helps. But for most people, like, sink that money somewhere else, get a better mic or something. Or, just get the thing that actually makes the cameras look nice, which is, get really nice lighting, get some cool lights. That will really help make an improvement rather than getting a super expensive camera and a super expensive lens. And speaking of lights, and I'm kind of a culprit of this, is getting too many lights, getting a bunch of different crazy RGB lights to light up your background. Like, if you have like a flat white wall background and it's really dull, then yeah, get the RGB lights, color it up, make it look nice. But all you really need is the key light to light your face. That's what people are looking at. But if you have like a messy, crazy background and stuff like that, don't go crazy with it. Don't get like those big, crazy nanolight panel walls. A lot of times, like, there's so much like RGB in the background that it gets a bit distracting, especially if it's like constantly changing color and stuff. So I would say, put the bulk of your budget, of your lighting budget, into a key light, and then maybe like a fill light, make your face look nice. Focus on that first. The background can come second, and don't give anyone seizures with, too many flashing lights. So I'll admit, I was a bit of a hater on things like stream decks or stream controllers at first because, I didn't really think it was going to be that useful, but then I picked up one myself, and it's been really handy, managing my stream, especially with the 2 PC stream setup. But having said that, like, it doesn't take that much effort, especially if you're on a 2 PC setup, to like just quickly switch your scenes. Like, if you're just doing a simple like one-shot gaming stream, like maybe you have like a starting soon screen and then you just go into gameplay, or maybe like full camera sometimes. Like, if you just have a very straightforward stream, and if that's your content, like, you don't need a controller. Like, just use some macro keybinds, use a phone app, use anything else. You really don't need to buy those controllers. You only really need to do it if that's your gimmick. Like, you're gonna have all these effects, crazy like sushi dragon type stuff going on. If that is what you're going for, get the controller. But for most people, like, it's really not that much to go from starting soon to in-game, or just putting a hotkey on it. Like, save yourself that extra $100, put it toward light. Lights are the best. But yeah, that's one thing that I'll say, like, it wasn't really that necessary. All right, the next thing I saw, and I think this is maybe not so much of a trend anymore, but it kind of still pops up here and there, which is paid overlay designs. Like, you should really almost never pay for overlays. Like, there's so many free resources out there to get free overlays and free overlay setups. And the honest truth is like, does anyone really pay attention anymore to your overlays? Like, do you go into a stream and be like, oh wow, nice overlays, let me watch this thing? Like, oh, your stinger transition's amazing. Oh man, your webcam frame, it's the best webcam frame I've ever seen. Like, I'm definitely gonna watch this stream. Like, no one cares. Like, the funny alerts are great, but I think most of us are pretty sick of hearing them all the time. Really just focus on you and your content. Like, the overlay is something that someone's gonna see and forget almost immediately. Like, if you're an established streamer, they'll probably notice if you've done like a branding redesign or something. But if you must get overlays, look on the internet first. There's so much free overlay resources. Or even better yet, stimulate the economy, hire a designer. There's so many struggling designers out there that'll make you some cool overlays. Emotes, yeah, sure, pay for emotes, but I don't know. I just think the paid overlay thing isn't something to do. Just get something free. And honestly, most people don't really seem to care. It doesn't really affect your content too much. It's probably not really going to affect your viewership much at all either. So the next one is something that I see as advice given to a lot of beginning streamers, which is consistency. Like consistency is always like the most important thing people say for streaming. And I think this is true to a degree because like when you first start streaming, you should really be consistent because you're really developing your voice, you know, like no one starts as a fully fledged streamer. Like most people, you know, maybe they're introverted, you know, they don't know their personality, they don't know what their stream's going to be about. And it takes time to develop that cadence and like that thing that's going to get people to watch, right? So yeah, be consistent until you figure that out. But once you've done it for a while, like you need to be consistent in other ways. Like you need to be consistent with a plan, you know, like I'm going to be live at this time, not I'm going to be live for 3 hours at some time during the day, every day. No, it's going to be like, I'm going to be live, you know, at least 4 days a week at 7 p.m. Like be consistent so people can develop a routine and find you. Like don't be consistent just streaming as much as you want because then you just get burnt out and you don't want to do it anymore. So you need to be consistent with a plan. Like what is your plan when you go live? Like are you posting on all your social media? Are you making clips of your content? Are you making, you know, archives and things for people to watch and find? Like how are people going to discover you? You need to be consistent with that because if you don't have a consistent way of trying to get people into your funnel, are you consistently networking? Are you trying to find other streamers to play with and, you know, network and tap into their audiences? Like if you're not doing that, then you're just going to be burnt out and you're going to be like, I did what everyone said. I said I was consistent, but if you didn't have that consistent plan, it's just not going to work. So I don't want this video to come across like if you just bought a new camera or a new microphone or you bought some overlays and you're like, man, did I mess up? Should I feel bad about this? Like, no, don't. Like if streaming is just a hobby for you, like if it's just something that you're just doing for fun to pass the time, then yeah, go nuts, get all the crazy stuff. Like the hobby side of streaming, I think is something that a lot of us lose, especially with all the money involved in streaming now. And you know, you should enjoy it, enjoy the tech, have fun with it. That's how you get like new and creative types of streamers. Now, for the people that are maybe more financially invested, then you know, these are some of the mistakes that I've learned. Like when I thought like, hey, you know, I'm going to give this streaming thing another shot, see how it goes. Like I didn't follow my advice. I bought a bunch of stuff. I got too focused on the technical aspect of the stream and I didn't focus on the content and the consistency in the sense of promoting myself and getting people into it. Like I could have, you know, hit up all my friends and been like, hey, you know, give me that raid, give me that host, trying to get my audience. You know, you got to network, you got to, you know, get your name out there somehow. So I want to know from you though, like, was there any gear that you bought last year for streaming? It's like, that didn't work out so well. Was there any gear that you bought that was like, whoa, this completely changed my stream. It made it amazing. Let me know in the comments. Give a like if this video was helpful. Subscribe for more streaming tech, some failures and successes. Thanks again for watching. Catch you on the next one.